Good morning. My name is Code Indigo, and you are watching Speedrun Ragnarok 2023. It is Friday, and we have a really wonderful day of games and fundraising for Take This lined up for you. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are doing this for Take This, which seeks to decrease stigma and increase support for mental health among game makers and players. So if you want to donate, we've got plenty of incentives and prizes and other things going on. Just in the chat, type in !donate, and we'll find more information. But for right now, we are going to be starting a run of Valkyria Chronicles with the wonderful AlexisGoesMoo. How are you doing this morning, Miss Alexis?
Hello. Doing well this morning. Gonna be doing New Game Plus, so already gonna start on Prologue. That's just kind of how we do it. And that will make sense in a few seconds. But we're gonna start. 3, 2, 1, go. So right away we have to go to headquarters, and we're gonna do the only menu in the game. These units are randomized, and I need very specific ones in order to actually be able to do the route. So thankfully we have it so you can just start with the units already in position. So that makes it a lot more consistent for a marathon, as well as just doing runs. And we also now have to go and equip all the units. We're going to use a lot of extra weapons that we have. Most of these are like 1 or 2 time usage, but they're very essential for the run. And now we get to go and start the run formally. We're going to go and start off in Prologue. So each mission is going to kind of start off like this. We're going to get a little briefing, then we're going to get a second briefing, and then you'll go and start our mission. So combat in this game, you select a character, and you can walk as much as your arms bar, and it stops moving if I decide to go and hit the R1 button, go into aim mode. And we're going to be using Vulcan for this, because he has Galleon S20, which has the best accuracy and range of any weapon. And the goal of this mission is just to take out 3 units. So we're just going to want to go and, like, move as little as possible while shooting them. One more. And we also, you can see those, like, little symbols in the top corner. There's so many times I can use stuff. They're called command points, and it was pretty tight looking in this run because there was only 3 and I only have 3 things to do. But later it's gonna actually get a little scary. So hopefully we get some good luck with that. So Prologue, we found some scouts and we defeated them. Now we're actually having the town formally invaded. So for this mission, our first goal is to take out the commander. So everyone's going to choose Vulcan, just because its accuracy is really good. And the commander is over here. They're crouched, which means even if you hit them in the head, it doesn't count as a headshot. So, it's actually kind of tight, even though we're very powerful. So, this game's New Game Plus is one of the new Game Pluses that, does not make the enemy stronger. So I am just much, much stronger than the game, because we are max level with max defensive stats and offensive stats. So normally that enemy would require a grenade. We'll be using pretty shortly. But we can actually just go and shoot them. Plus, so you might notice the tank. Yeah, so the second part of this mission is this tank. but we can't fight it right now, so we're just gonna run away. So select Vulcan, and we're gonna run in just a straight line. This is not that different, surprisingly, in New Game. But you can see we barely take any damage from the tank. One other thing I can note is you'll notice there's some like things in the book mode that are like colored and some things that aren't. In New Game Plus, you could skip anything that's not like most of the story cutscenes, so I don't have to like keep matching through cutscenes to skip. So instead, we get into things pretty quickly in this category. There we go. Alicia's having trouble getting over that. But yeah, so this is Alicia. She has a different gun. Got ZM-Car 9, and it's going to be the main gun used throughout the run. We equipped it to another scout, and it will very shortly make sense why we use it so much in the run. So, like, basically, we have to wait to turn 3 in order to win the game. And, while we're doing that, we want to just have the enemy die as quickly as possible. So I put Alicia right where she's standing, so most of the enemies are gonna run right into her. And then she will take them out very quickly with ZM-Car 9. All of these enemies will take 1 to 2 hits. I also got kind of good luck, maybe, with that, scout that was on the hill that Alicia wasn't shooting at. You'll see what happens. Alright, so turn 2. The tank is going to shoot the gate again. If the gate goes down, we lose. But, we're going to be taking out the tank right after this turn. There's no worry about that. So one more unit. I don't know if they're going to come from the top or bottom. Alright, they came from the top. So we're going to have to wait for them to shoot, and then our scout to shoot back. And then after this, Vulcan's going to arrive with the tank. And, we're not going to use the tank, because we can now use orders. These are going to be like buffs that we can use, and we'll be using a lot of them throughout the run. We already have every one of them unlocked, so I can use stuff like penetration, which ignores enemy defense.
My turn, okay?
And it's rather important for this one because this tank is a little different. Normally, we could just one round this kind of tank with ZM-Car 9 without penetration, but they decrease the multiplier for this one specific tank. So it's usually we get the 10x multiplier when we hit the little glowy spot, but we only get a 1.5 multiplier for that tank specifically. Meaning we do have to use an order in order to take it out. Oh, and we also had a baby born while we were in the tank. Now we're gonna formally go and join the military. We were just like kind of in the militia. And this also was when the game starts to open up, including deployments. We'll be doing quite a lot of. They're gonna be pretty simple. Like, for example, this deployment, I'm gonna select radial. I'm gonna go and just move it twice to the left, and that's gonna be the deployment for Chapter 3.
Offensive and defensive. Squad 7, move out.
And we're gonna get our little briefing. And now we get to use Mobile. I'm gonna go down twice. And he's a scout just like Alicia, so you can see he can move a really large amount of time. He also has the MCAR-9. Thankfully that's not a unique weapon. And we're gonna attempt to do a double hit here. Oh, that went really well actually. Both shots were headshots. You thankfully only need like 2 body shots, and we have 7 shots total, so it's a pretty consistent double kill overall. The only really worry about double kills in this game is you need one target to die before you can like cover. Also, I do have to actually remember, you have to sometimes, but not always, tap the D-pad to get to the final cutscene for a mission in New Game Plus. It's a bit random. Once again, we're going to play Maville. We're not using Alicia, even though she's the first listed unit, because something called cut-in potentials, and we haven't seen any of them yet, but they're basically 3-second cutscenes, and Alicia's like the best scout in the game, so she has a lot of cut-in potentials, which can make her a little bit slower than maybe.
Okay, I got it. I'll dodge everything you throw at me.
Whereas Maville has only 1 cut-in potential, and it's a really useful one. We might be using it next chapter. Alright, so we're gonna use a grenade, make a shortcut. Then we're gonna stand on this little debris. And hopefully make another shortcut. He did it. And then we're gonna run towards the base. And I'm gonna go and use something called mortar support. It's gonna just drop a big explosion on the enemies. This is a bit of a niche order, because once enemies get a lot stronger, this will not be useful. But for now, it's a really good way to clear a base, especially if the enemy is crouching. Because you can't do headshots if they're crouching. And now we just capture the base. And what we do here is we activated a bridge, then we're gonna go and make the drawbridge go down, and that takes out all of our forces and prevented an invasion. For chapter 5, we are gonna find a pig that isn't gonna be on screen, sadly, for the run. Instead, we're gonna go back to capturing it. So it's gonna be a bit similar to the last vision. I'm gonna deploy Maville. And we're gonna be running a really long distance this time. This is one of the chapters that, like, really requires a scout. Some of these earlier ones, you could do with some other unit classes, but, this one is just one of the longest walks. It also is rather dangerous for an early game mission, so I'm gonna be using Defense Boost. This one just raises your defense. One of 2 defensive orders in the game, and we probably won't be using it. That is a landmine. I'm not gonna step on them. They have really big hitboxes, by the way, so I should actually pay attention to them. There's gonna be a few in this chapter as well.
Please don't follow them in too deep.
I'm on it. I'm unstoppable.
See, like, something like a troop killer, that's a potential, but it's not the cut-in ones, so it doesn't lose time. This is gonna be our phase 2. This guy is gonna come up with a big tank, and that's why we have to use Defense Boost, because the tank is very scary. You see it right on screen now.
Okay,
And we're just gonna run right towards it.
I found one. I found one. Ha!
And we're gonna use a grenade. It's gonna be able to explode and take out units. But there's still one more in the base.
I'm on it.
They're crouching, so we can't headshot them, but they're also a scout. They don't have the best armor. So we're going to be able to take them out pretty easily. John.
Who are these guys?
So there's chapter 5. And yeah, you don't have to fight it. You can actually beat it, and it wouldn't be terribly difficult, but it's something that's kind of with this game is, usually it's better in all Valkyria games, actually, to just completely avoid the enemy. It's almost, like, both casually and speedrun-wise. Anyways, chapter 6. I'm gonna be in a desert this time, and that is why I'm going to deploy Alicia. See, there's also bad cut-in potentials, like ones that have a negative effect, and Mobile has one called Desert Allergies, which means any map that is a desert, there's a chance, of 10% chance, that, and this is gonna happen infinitely, people get a 3-second cutscene that also lowers his HP. So it's much safer to just use Alicia.
Enemy sighted. Enemy unit spotted. Careful, you're headed towards a machine gun.
Alright, and a little bit of a scary turn 1. That's why I have Ragnade, which is for healing ability. We may or may not need it, depending on what kind of luck we get.
Enemy sighted. Think you can stop
Well, we
me?
got Resist Crossfire, so this is an example of cut-in potential.
I'm a
And
weapon.
this is also
No,
Valkyria.
a
This one
shield.
has a 40% chance and is only when I'm below half HP. So we're going to be seeing that basically anytime Alicia is below half. It's also why we try to avoid using her. But in this case, it was actually a good thing, because it greatly increases my survivability, boosts your attack and defense and accuracy. So it makes it much easier to go in and win. So we got the flag. You only have to take out who's in the base as well, so a lot of these maps we don't have to fight many enemies. In fact, I think in the next mission, chapter 7, we're gonna fight as many enemies as we did in all the chapters combined. Because this one's gonna be a little longer than the first 6. We will not be deploying Scout. We'll instead be using a Shock Trooper and Lancers.
That tank is our target. We have to stop it. Squad 7, move out.
So there's a giant tank, and we're gonna go and fight it. But,
I'm on my way now.
we can't fight it right away. Instead, we have to wait till turn 4. Anytime we have to wait in this game, the best thing to do is to clear out all the enemies, so that there aren't many enemies having their turns. Because enemies take quite a while to do anything.
All right, listen
So
up.
we kill the sniper, and then we're gonna mortar support because it's a large group. Although this won't quite clear them, the Lancer will live because they have blast resist.
I'm
However,
on my way now.
Alex has an ultimate
I'm feeling
potential,
extreme.
ultimate damage,
Why
and also
you?
a very strong weapon, so it doesn't really matter that I'm that far away from the fight. Ultimate potentials are really good because they're not cut-ins, and they always act.
No victory.
And we're going to be using a lot of them throughout the
Fire
run.
men, annihilate our enemies.
And here is the tank wave. So that's going to be one of the longer enemy phases. It's just going to be the tank moving, and it is not a very fast tank, because it's very big. That's turn 1. And also, Maximilian can randomly use orders. He's gonna order his units to attack stronger, but he has no one to attack. So, he's kind of just spending 10 seconds doing nothing. This is also going to explain that this mission is a little different. You can lose if all your bases are run over. Normally it's just that they capture your base, it's game over. But in this case, all 3 of them are.
Heed my words and no victory. Loose your fire, men. Annihilate.
We actually got orders all 3 turns. Bit unfortunate. But it does mean we can start the fight. Because when main cannon is fired, you see that there's a bunch of glowy weak spots now. And now we can begin fighting the boss. So we're gonna go with one of our Lancers. They have M01R, which is really good because it's strong enough to almost kill the Radiators, but not quite do it. Which is really useful because we want to take out all 3 of these at once. Also, you can notice they have ultimate anti-armor. Every single character that we selected except our Scout has an ultimate potential. That's because Scouts only have ultimate evade, which would not be very useful.
You got it, hon.
But here's the 3rd one. And end turn. And now we're going to use a new order called Demolition Boost. I'm going to be using it on the tank. The tank has a mortar, and the mortar will attack all 3 targets at once. I'll also save here, as there isn't really a backup, like fast backup, if I mess the shot up.
Here we go.
So we're going to select our tank, select mortar, we're going to move right about here. Alright, and we hit all 3 of them. And now all the cutscenes are going to play at once, and we will be able to enter Phase 2. This fight is kind of infamous for people playing it casually, because right now a whole bunch of enemies came here, including a boss, Valkyria, that you can attack. So it's very dangerous, but in both versions of the speedrun, we kind of just ignore that. For this case, I'm just going to use Audrey. She's going to attack twice. She has M20R and also ultimate anti-armor, so she has a much stronger weapon, which means she can take this down 2 hits. In fact, she can take out almost any tank in 2 hits without hitting weak spots. So there is Chapter 7. And afterwards, Maximilian escapes, and we're gonna go off to a forest again. After a little bit in the desert, we return to the forest, and we're doing some scouting, and then a mortar hit us. And Alicia and Vulcan, they fell into this, like, part of the forest. And Alicia's leg is also going to be injured for this mission, so it's going to be a bit of a stealth auto-scroller. you see there are more mortars, and if you're in the red circle, you get hurt. We're also going to be avoiding this. So first, I'm going to select Alicia. And you see she has very little movement, moves quite a bit slower. But she doesn't attack any less, so she'll be able to take out things still. And we're going to have to do that because this is what, like Chapter 7, is not something I can do. So I'm going to be taking out enemies to make the turns a little faster. So we're going to take that scout out. And I'm going to in turn. Then we're going to go select Alicia. Then I'm going to put her near this tree. There's going to be these plants. And if I get those, I can give Alicia more movement. We only have to use one of them in order to get her to have enough movement to make every cycle and whatnot. So these are animal trails. Basically just parts in the map where you can kind of sneak by. And here's the plan I mentioned. The reason I had to move Alicia, like, to a wall is that, you can speak through the wall with her. Which is nice, because it's kind of annoying to get both of them, like, right next to each other. Now we can end turn. And see what happens. There's kind of a finicky thing with resisting here. It's not too bad, but sometimes you might get them to move in the wrong place. Also, this is on PS4, so anytime they do like shuffling like this, it's gonna be slower than PC. But overall, PS4 is faster for some reason. The mortar went down. There's gonna be, and there are gonna be even more mortars if we walk into the searchlight.
Gotta love nature.
I'll explain that right now. Is a searchlight, and they do it, big red circle will appear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stand here, walk past it. We're gonna run past this enemy. We're gonna stop right around here and go by it. And then we have to deal with a bit of a hard enemy. This is an enemy ace that's gonna be coming up. We don't want to fight them, but enemy aces are dangerous because they have very high evade, which means they can dodge, and dodging is a very scary thing in this game, as if an enemy dodges, it means you did basically no damage. So, instead of actually fighting this ace, we're just gonna go and take the scout out, and now they won't be able to get vision to the, shock trooper ace. Now they won't be able to see us when we get there with Alicia. And speaking of her, she's gonna take that landmine, helps her with movement a little bit, and HP is not too concerned. And we're gonna see, she might get a potential here. She did not. There is a potential called double movement, and it works as it probably sounds in that it makes your action bar go from empty to full, and it lets you go and move again. You can't attack again, that's double action, but you can move. And for the speedrun, it's going to be required for some one turns later on. For now, though, up until, like, later chapters, it's just going to be, like, it can help you go a little faster. Like, if I get it on this action, for example.
Enemy sighted.
I'm going to use that tree to avoid the shock trooper, then we're going to hide. Because they would get vision if they see the scout, but they also would see us if we're just, you know, in front of them. Even without the scout.
My turn, okay?
Now we're going to just move Alicia over to where Valkyria is. You can do this in 3 turns, but I didn't get double movement, so we just do it in 4. So don't want to have them too close to each other, because I've done that before, and when you do, sometimes Alicia will get stuck on Vulcan, and you can't move forward very easily. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Ready to go.
Alright, we're good. So yeah, and also I'm not caring about the searchlights anymore because it's faster to just ignore them. A lot of their slowness is they add an extra mortar, but
Okay?
we're gonna be out of here like as soon as we get to the goal with Alicia.
Can't beat the smell of fresh
So we
soil.
do not have to worry about the mortars. I think I might have avoided the searchlights. Looks like it.
Come on, pull it together.
So there is 8-1. And we're gonna go and tap to the right and go to 8-2. This is gonna be the first 2-parter chapter in the run. So we're gonna reunite with our squad, as well as Alicia's leg is healed, although we will not be using her this mission. We will be using Vulcan, though, because he is going to be required.
Ready to go.
Because, without tank, we cannot finish this mission. And the tank needs Vulcan in order to fire.
Enemy sighted.
So we're gonna have to run him over first.
Break through the front lines.
Here we go.
So there's gonna be a little bridge, and then we're gonna go up this. I don't actually know how they climb this, but apparently they can. This isn't enough, so we're gonna need one more action. And this is because we aren't mine boosting like we used to, which is actually slower, but there's also a bit of risk to this. So I'm going to save before we start this. As you can see, I have 5 CP, which looks like a lot, given there's only 1 base to capture, and there's only 1 enemy in the base. However, we require the tank to destroy this. And it also takes 2 shots in order to destroy.
Here we go.
So we're going to need almost all of our CP just to destroy this wall.
Now.
And sadly, the tank is the only thing that can hurt the wall. So then I'm going to move the tank a little forward. I'm doing this just to protect scouts, as the next part of the mission is to capture the base. And I only have 1 CP to do this.
I'm on it.
So the tank is going to kind of absorb a lot of fire. You can see I still take a decent amount, but
To advance.
I'm not dead, which is good.
Spotted an enemy.
And then there's the enemy. So I'm going to move to the head,
So long.
and... Okay, there we go. Hopefully we get head stop. The ZMCAR 9 is very powerful, but it's also a bit inaccurate compared to other weapons, which is why this can be a bit scary, being only 1 CPU to do it. Also, and I hope we don't see any of these, but if any enemy dodges, you'd have to restart on that mission, which is why we have to save these. Hopefully we just don't see any dodges this run. We have not so far. So anyways, we took a bit of a break, and we got a bunch of medals given to us, and we met the Princess of Gallia, That's where we're from and where we're trying to defend. However, she ended up getting kidnapped, and she's in an APC. So, you want to stop the APC, but we also don't want to accidentally, you know, kill the princess. So, we can't use, like, anti-armor. So I can't use, like, the tank or a lancer or anything to take them out. However, it does not say anything about anti-armor snipers. So, we get to go and use a sniper for the first time.
The hunt begins.
And this is Marina.
Checkmate.
She says an ultimate potential. This is a really good one. It's its ultimate accuracy. So I can use this very inaccurate weapon, but I can turn it into a pointer. So I just am using the anti-armor like rifle, and it's very inaccurate. But with ultimate accuracy, you would now have perfect accuracy. So yeah, it's a really good combination for speedrun related things, as it lets us consistently do quite a few enemies. Because we just kind of one-shotted the APC. I technically did hit the weak point there, although it doesn't look like it.
Our top priority is to get to the rendezvous point. Squad 7, move out!
And anyways, this is gonna be our first tank mission. We did technically touch the tank once earlier, but in this chapter, our goal is to get the tank to this lift, and that means that whenever you have to get the tank somewhere, the only unit you're gonna play as is the tank. I did deploy one extra unit, and that is just so I don't accidentally game over. Because I'm taking out all the enemies along the way, but if I were to, say, miss the enemy, they would be able to go and get my base. And if I left it undefended, we would just game over instantly. Alright, and we got the shock trooper as well. Now we're just gonna end turn. This is gonna be a 3-turn, and it's a little silly looking because you technically could hide from the enemies and, like, avoid them from shooting you, but it's actually just kind of faster, in this case, to kind of just take the hits and let the enemy do their thing. And it's not like the damage to do is anything that's noticeable.
Entering combat.
Alright, so turn 2. Once again, we're going to be taking out enemies along the way to make the phases a little faster. See, there's a shock trooper, but there's also a second shock trooper. They're right behind the house. I'm going to attempt to take out both of them with this mortar. Excuse me. Alright, and now they're both taken out.
Enemy unit neutralized.
And we're gonna go forward. And now we're gonna have a tank that's blocking our path. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot it twice with our own tank.
Keep that cover fire coming.
So I'm gonna go just as close as I can. And actually make sure we're targeting the tank. Sometimes the auto target for this is a little odd.
Here we go.
And it doesn't just automatically start up the tank. In this case, it did both times, though. And now, move forward.
Just keep up this pace.
And we're going to be attacked again by a Lancer this time. Once again, they're not going to do any physical damage.
Minor damage sustained. Damage minimal.
Alright. So we're gonna watch some mortars. And then end things on turn.
Entering combat.
So it's going to be very similar to turn 2 in that there's going to be a
Enemy
bridge,
sighted.
and there's going to be a tank right blocking us, and I'm going to take it out with our tank.
Enemy sighted. Entering combat.
And then you can go and see our goals right over there.
Fire!
We're going to need like 2 more actions, and we'll see what our Lancer friend does.
Hostile
Basically, nice. Sometimes if you knock them into the direction we're heading in, you'll knock into them again and they'll fall off the
entering
cliff.
combat.
And it's a bit of a bad thing as you have to wait till they spawn back up for you to be able to end your turn.
Entering combat.
But we are all done in one. And it is 10-1 because part 2 is going to be we take the lift and we do other map. I deployed Alicia for the first time in a while,
Make sure that bomb gets set.
and then Marina
Squad
skin.
7, move out.
We'll be using both of them for this mission. There's going to be 2 parts to this. Part 1 is there's a bridge, and we need to destroy the bridge. And the bridge is really, really far away,
The hunt begins.
so it's best to use our anti-armor sniper rifle. Okay.
Target sighted.
Take back 1,000, soldiers.
Here's our bridge.
Nothing personal.
And we got it. Once again, we have perfect accuracy with ultimate accuracy, so if I do ever miss any of the part where I'm sniping, it just means I made a mistake. And so, by taking out the bridge, they're going to activate a lift. And unfortunately, the lift they activate right now, this is actually going to let us take out the boss, which is a giant armored train. Also, our first usage of Awakened Potential.
Trust in yourself.
I mentioned double movement before, and
My
in
turn,
this
okay?
chapter, I am required to get it.
Hmm.
I have
Can't
5
smell fresh
actions, and I
soil.
need to get double movement twice. Awakened Potential
units spotted.
boosts the chance of you getting in
I
potentials.
see the armored train ahead. Be wary of cannon fire.
Can't
So
beat
it's
the
going to
smell
make it
of
a
fresh
lot
soil.
more consistent.
Moving out. Can't beat the smell of fresh soil. Enemy unit spotted.
Can you reach it from there? Please verify your range.
So, if I don't get double movement
My
on
turn,
this
okay?
action, we're gonna start safety saving.
Think you can stop me?
Gonna get resist crossfire as that tank is pretty scary.
Once more.
And
with
there it
vigor.
is, our first double movement.
Enemy unit spotted.
So this is gonna get us pretty far along.
Enemy sighted.
Face them in an angle to help deflect fire.
Enemy unit spotted.
Don't let your guard down.
Alright. I'm gonna end turn there to prevent a potential Valkyria activation, and then I'm gonna safety save for double movement.
Moving out. I'm a weapon.
'Cause yeah, we're gonna get Valkyria a lot
shield.
now.
Once more with
Alright,
feeling.
double movement. And we are going to die, so I am going to read. And need to get resist crossfire as well.
Moving out. Think you
Alright,
can
there's
stop me?
resist crossfire.
I'm a weapon. No, a shield.
And double
More
movement.
with feeling.
So, alright, there we go. Now we're going to activate this lift. And there's going to be a bomb. And when we blow that up, we're going to blow up the train tracks. And then that'll take out the armor. There's the bomb. And we actually got very lucky in that Alicia did not get undodgeable shot. One of the cut-in potentials, and the bomb can't dodge. So it's kind of silly that you can go and get it. But since we use the Awaken potential, you usually get that. Yeah. We took out the armor train. You see, it's gonna fall into the water. Bring it down, and then start chapter 11. It's gonna be one of the more dangerous ones in the run. It's gonna be a one turn, just like 10-2, and require double movement. Although this time we only require one double movement in order to win. However, there's even more enemy fire. As we're gonna be taking a beach and a base, all with just Alicia. The first thing we're gonna do is a whole bunch of orders. First, we're gonna use defense boost, as we're gonna actually be using 2 defensive orders indirectly. We'll be using Awaken Potential, and we're doing that to get Resist Crossfire, as well as double movement.
You can do this. Trust in yourself.
We definitely need both of those to be active to not die. And there's actually going to be one more. Attack weak spot.
This is an order.
This makes every single attack as if you're attacking their weak spot. So if they're crouching and you can't headshot them, this will allow you to headshot them. We're going to need that for the base clear.
Can't beat the smell of fresh soil.
Enemy camp sighted ahead.
Think you can stop me?
Alright, and we actually did the position correctly there. There's a turret that can shoot you, but if you move correctly, you can avoid them.
Spotted. Once more with feeling.
There's also going to be a second set of these, and we're not going to be able to avoid them.
Can't beat the smell of fresh soil. Enemy unit spotted. Enemy sighted.
It's a miss. Fall back now.
So I'm gonna
Enemy sighted.
wait a bit.
If you're hurt, use some.
I'm a weapon. No, a shield. I'm taking
And then
extra special
heal.
care.
We also got first aid boost, which is going to heal us by a lot. And in case we get incredibly unlucky, I will safety save as we are right towards the end of the turrets, but we are still in them, and I don't know if I'm going to get Resist Crossfire.
Think you
Alright,
can
we ended up
stop
getting
me?
it. So we should be good now.
Enemy unit spotted.
Now to go and clear our base. This one's a little unique in that we have a down, which is one of the reasons we definitely need to use back weak spot. Because that is a crouching shock trooper, which means very hard to deal damage to them. Chapter 11 is now complete. We'll be going with 12. This map is actually going to be the same map as Chapter 1 and 2. We're going to basically go back to our hometown that was taken and take it back. It's very similar to Chapter 6 in that it's just a straight line that we're going to run into. I'll also be using Leviel for this one. Just because I don't need too many
We're
potentials,
taking back our homies. Squad
so
7,
Alicia would
move
lose a lot
out.
of time here. So we're gonna use defense boost,
This is
and
an
then
order.
that's gonna be the only order we're gonna have to use for this one.
Brace up and get ready
And
to defend yourself.
walk Mobile to the end. Just
Okay, I got it.
select them, and
Spotted an enemy.
we do have to go
Spotted an enemy.
behind this
Spotted
tree,
an enemy.
technically. But aside from that, it's gonna be a straight shot. Just quite a few enemies though, including
Spotted an
this
enemy.
turret over here, and that's where a lot of the damage comes from. If I did not use defense boost,
I'm on it.
that turret would likely kill me.
Spotted an enemy.
And so we do have a named unit with our enemy Ace, but this is really unique in that they're a sniper. Snipers don't move. And you move. That means that they're not going to turn around, and when you shoot from behind, enemies can't dodge. So it's very convenient that the one Ace that's like where you have to actually fight them is one that can't turn around.
You're doing well.
Then we just shoot the anti-tank cannon. The weak spot is the soldier. Oh, it's still kind of an armored unit. And also we got a weapon because we technically did take out an ace. That's why we get weapons like CM Car9. Alright, and now it's gonna be 13. This one, as well as the next one, are probably the scariest missions in the run. For starters, there's a big field, and they're shooting a bunch of rockets. This means we can't use the tank, or we stop that from happening. And the tank is how we use orders, which means until then, I can't use orders. So I'm gonna have to actually try to figure out how to do this without any orders, which is why this one's particularly scary. But first we're gonna just clear the field. Thankfully, rockets only shoot on the enemy phase, so it's not like we're gonna be acting here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this in 2 turns. Turn 1 is gonna be mostly just movement. And we're gonna take out this enemy. And then end turn.
But not surprised.
I also avoided touching the body. That actually slows down. Then we're gonna end phase. Gonna be a big boom from all the rockets. Then we're gonna safety save. More or less, I'm going to be doing a bit of a trick shot. It is a little random, as, if they dodge, I do not get it. Also, the setup is a little different in New Game Plus than what we usually do, so it will work. I aim right around here, I use the right, and I hit the D-pad down twice, and hopefully that went well. Alright, so it went well. The reason we have to go in the corner like that is, you can see that shock trooper did a lot of damage. Now, if you aim in the corner, they turn towards you. And so the second shock trooper, they're facing the wall. And if they're facing the wall, they're not facing me. Which means they're not doing damage. And if both of them are shooting at you, there's a pretty good chance Alicia will just die if she doesn't get a potential. There is a 1 turn of this that you do by hitting resist crossfire and double movement and stuff, but we'll just be doing it like this. And also, I could use Vulcan to shoot the enemy tank. But in practice, I was like sitting here for a minute trying to get Welkin to land one shot. So I'm just gonna use Alicia instead. And she's gonna use penetration. Pick up his thing. And that is gonna be 30. So 14 is going to be a bit of a hard one, mostly based on luck, as we used to do this in 2 turns, but we'll now be doing it in 1 turn, and the 1 turn is quite a bit more tight. As we have to use a lot of orders in order to make it, so we're already down quite a few CP. Also, Alicia is a Valkyria, which means we can't use her for this chapter. And now you can only just watch and spin the camera. She's gonna just shoot 2 enemies, and she just walks around and one-shots everything. So once we're done this, I'm gonna use 2 orders, ones we've used quite a few times, Awaken Potential and Penetration. And then I'm immediately going to make a save, because I have 3 chances to get double movement once.
You can do this. Trust in yourself.
There's Awaken Potential. And
This is an order.
there's something I don't think I mentioned, but it's very convenient
Aim for where their
where,
protection is
like,
weakest.
the D-pad shortcuts are, those 2 potentials. Those are 2 of the ones that are used the most in the run. Now we will make our save.
I'm on it. I'll dodge everything you throw at me.
So basically, it looks pretty simple. There's just 1 base to capture,
Are you okay?
and we're really close to it already. But when you capture this base, we start phase 2.
Enemy's position.
And phase 2 is going to be an ambush between 2 tanks, and said 2 tanks have a really high defensive value. So we're going to have Maville take out one of them by running all the way across to where they are. They're on the far side of the map. And then Audrey is going to try to be the best sniper she can be and take out the other.
I found one. Spotted an enemy. Spotted an enemy.
Away.
Also, we did get double movement, so we're pretty much good to go on this. Oh, for the first part, anyway.
I'm on it. I'll dodge everything you throw at me.
Imperial defenses are finally weakening.
here.
Oh, we got double movement. I don't quite need it, but I'll get to the position anyway. Usually what you do is you do one body shot, then 2 weak spots. But since I can get here, I'll just go here and do it.
Okay, I got
Then we're
it.
gonna shoot them 2 more
I'll
times.
dodge everything you throw at me. So long.
And now you'll notice I have 3 CP left. And there's one more. So what I have to do is both Audrey can land 2 out of 3 shots.
Roger that. I'm stronger than I look. Watch this.
Alright. So she landed a shot, but that was on its turret. So we're gonna have to go and save these. And hope that Audrey's doing a little better.
Ooh, orders from the boss. I'm stronger than I look. Ha!
Alright, we landed 1. And we will once again safety save. And now, hopefully Audrey can second shot.
Ooh, orders from the boss. I'm stronger than I look. Fly true.
Alright, she did it. Alright, that is kind of a scary mission for marathons, as sometimes Audrey does not like hitting the tank. And sometimes she doesn't like hitting the tank for a while. She was pretty cooperative for that one. I say that's about average. So you missed 1 shot, but we didn't have to reload a bunch. And now the 15. This is going to be one of the last 2-part missions. So 15-1, there are 3 switches, and we want to go and activate. So we're going to deploy Alicia for the last time.
There are 3 switches total. Let's clear the way. Squad 7, move out.
And this will also be our last scout mission of the run. As late game missions, they are not going to be used much. So first, we're going to use Defense Boost. This is technically optional. We only need Resist Crossfire, but if I did the strat without Defense Boost, you die a lot when you do that. Like, a lot.
You can do this. Trust in
If you don't get
yourself.
Resist Crossfire. In fact, if I didn't get Resist Crossfire when I run up to this turret, that's going to be right in front of us. It's right near the little gate. We will just die immediately.
Enemy unit spotted. Enemy units think
In fact, you can see I'm switching the Ragnade, even though I use Defense Boost,
Enemy sighted.
because it's just that dangerous. There's our first one. See, the other ones are kind of close to each other, so we're doing the third one second.
Once more with
As
feeling.
excuse me,
We have to take back
we'll do the third one second because
Enemy unit spotted. Enemy unit spotted.
it lets us get easy access. Also, I'm gonna end my turn here. So nice. I did that just so I can avoid a cutscene.
Think you can
Basically, you get a
stop me?
tutorial on like use the bridges to go up, but we're not gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna go and get our third gate,
We're clear to it.
second, and then avoid that minefield. Don't want to work on that. And
Can't beat the smell of fresh soil.
third gate, this one. Now all 3 are activated. So now we're gonna have a train go through, and it's gonna blow up that center gate. And that's gonna let us get to 15. So 15-2 is gonna be a boss fight against Salvaria. We actually haven't seen her really in the run, because she's usually off-screen in the run. But, we'll actually have to fight her here. She usually is in her Valkyria form and really resistant to damage, but she decides to not use it for this mission, which means we can actually damage her. And just in case, I will save you. As the strat right here is pretty easy, but if it goes wrong, it's really bad. So we're gonna use a smoke. And what this is gonna do is, if you're in smoke cover, Salvaria is like an ace, so avoid any enemy fire. But if you go in and out of smoke, she can't see you, which will let us take her out pretty easily. So I'm gonna go in, out, and right around.
Fire!
Alright, it's gonna take 2 rounds, but it's okay.
Way ahead of you. Fire!
There we go. So that is 15-2. Normally you're supposed to turn her around, and you have to go through, like, a whole lot of lifts and enemies. But thankfully we can just take her out from shooting her in smoke round. So now for 16. This one is the longest mission in the game, as it's a bit of a tank mission.
We have to divert that monster away from the capital. Squad 7, move out!
And we're gonna be diverting the Bermuda. It's one of the ones the mission name does a really good job of explaining.
Entering combat.
So to do that, we're going to be setting off these explosions to make landfall slides. And the landslides block them from going somewhere. And we'll get them to follow us. And we're supposed to go and have them go into a bunch of explosives we have set up. So, in practice, this mission is going to be a lot of moving our tank forward and hiding in smoke around to make the enemy phases go faster. Also, Saka died, but he is a story unit. There is permadeath in this game, but we don't ever see it in the speedrun. The story units are the only units that ever die. They come back. And we wouldn't leave Zaka behind, because otherwise we'd have to move both tanks forward every single turn. So now we only have 1 unit, and we only have 1 move. So we're gonna take out these crates, and they're gonna go and be what starts our landslide. The rock slide, now I remember. I always mix up what it is, as I see a bunch of stuff fall down. And then we're gonna shoot the other one. Thankfully, Vulcan is much more accurate in this category. We do the same strat in game, but it's very scary because Vulcan has a habit of missing these shots. Thankfully, he's not gonna have that happen much in this. They're gonna end smoke. we're gonna watch our Marmota a bit. And they're explaining that we can make the debris, even though we already did, because we're moving a little bit faster than the game expects.
Entering combat.
And you can see they have tank barricade, but thankfully our tank can just shoot it. Then we're gonna move forward and end in smoke.
Entering combat. Now. Damage minimal.
So here we go. And we have one more turn of the Ramona is gonna be told that it changed course and it is following us. And then we're gonna make it follow us one more time. There is gonna be another set of bombs we have to set off.
Here we go. Hostile sighted.
So select. Barricade here.
Now.
No more barricade. Also, I don't think this isn't a thing, but if technically I were to really mess up and my treads HP bar were to 0,
Here we go.
I wouldn't be able to move. Thankfully, that's not gonna happen. But we do take some tread damage throughout the run. And our last smoke round has been used. And then we're gonna set off the bombs. And from that point onward, we're just gonna wait for the Marmota to get to the goal. Sadly, we're way faster than the Marmota. And so the Marmota, we kinda have to just wait till it gets there. Gonna end start of turn.
Here we go.
Here.
Fire.
Right. Now I move this little patch right here. I want to go there just to make it so the enemies can't see me. Otherwise, they would move around a bit.
Here we go.
Then shoot them over the right. And now we're just gonna wait for the Marmota. So you turn again. And then we're gonna have a very, very long Marmota moving forward scene. You gotta go and see that they have like a face paint on them, and it's pretty silly to go and look at. And so this is going to be our last round of Mortars and Marmota. And then we'll be able to do the bit of the end game. Thankfully, the final 3 missions are quite a bit faster paced than these ones.
I do want to mention, we did have a $25 donation from Mechalink. Your name, it's Chumpy, right? And that one going to the character, or let me see here. What did that go to? That went to the Legends of Mana Remastered main character name. We are still also looking for a little bit more to save Dana for the Legend of Mana Remastered event uh, coming up after this run.
Alrighty. And, anyway, 17, we're gonna be on the same map as Chapter 4, but, since it's daytime, it looks very different, and I didn't notice that for a while. We're also gonna be fighting the tank that appeared in Chapter 5. This time I have to fight. What we're gonna do is gonna use penetration, and then demolition boost. Using both of these combined is going to be like the best anti-armor boss killer. And there's going to be 2 armored bosses.
This is an order. Destroying the target is your top priority. I can do that.
I also have a different weapon, D-Mag 20. This is the highest magazine capacity, and is going to be very useful for the next 2 bosses, because I use both offensive orders,
I see an enemy. Found an enemy.
each shot is going to do way more damage.
Roger that.
Alright, I'm also going to move the aim a little up, but I might get double attack. It's the reason we use Kevin, is double attack would have me able to attack twice. And we actually, if we get it on this, we can skip a cutscene. Sadly, we did not, but all we have to do is end our action and shoot one more time. However, I can get double attack here. And we'll have to wait for the animation. Thankfully, we did not get it. So, on to Chapter 18. This is going to be our final one. It's also a 2-parter. So the first part is, when we were trying to stop the Ramota, we failed, by the way, and then they went to a tower, and they got a big lance. So, part 1, we're going to be fighting a big lance.
Our target is the Marmota. Sink it at all costs. Squad 7, move
This
out!
big lance can shoot a really big laser, and if they have that and start shooting cities, it would be really bad. So the one turn for this is very tight. It is thankfully not luck. As we're going to be using the same orders we used last chapter.
This is an order.
As we're going to be facing an armored boss. And going to be using Ghost.
This is an order.
Then I'm going to save because the movement for this is kind of weird sometimes, and I have in the past not made it to the first location. So just in case, we'll see. So we're gonna stand up, run this way. Because, we do have to fight the Lance. Before we can attack that, we actually have to destroy the radiators that are making a barrier. That's gonna be the first thing we do. So the first one is gonna be here. They keep the same thing. They look like they're big. Take that one out. And there's gonna be a left one.
Roger that. I see an enemy.
And that's it for here. Metalhead, that's actually good. That will increase our damage by a little bit, although we don't need the boost. And then the shield is destroyed, and I have 3 actions, and I only have to shoot this lance 3 times.
I can do that.
Bring her behind this lancer. Aim all the way up. Shoot 3 times. If I get double attack, we'll be able to do this a little quicker. Although we don't need it to get the kill.
I can do that.
And will we get an extra double attack? Oh, we didn't. Kinda silly when you get double attack and the fight's already over. Anyways, it's time for our final chapter, this last session. 18-2. We'll be fighting Maximilian. This time he made himself into an artificial Valkyrie. We're gonna deploy Marina. You don't need many units for this these days. This used to take quite a few more, but it has changed over the years. Also, I do have to actually see where the rubble falls. There's gonna be a cutscene. And you kind of, I think it kind of shows. Yeah, but basically, I have to be careful around it for movement for the final thing. The stuff falls from the Valkov. First, we're gonna use Marina. Because Maximilian is powered by these 3. And we're gonna want to take them out.
Good work. Keep it up.
The hunt begins. Checkmate. Nothing personal.
And so there's 2 of them. And then we take those out with Marina. And then the 3rd tower we are gonna take out with our shock trooper.
This is an order.
So this is actually when I'm gonna do safety save, and time is pretty soon. As we're gonna take out the 3rd tower and then Maximilian in 2 actions. I'm gonna save, as if I mess up the movement for this, you pretty much are guaranteed to die.
I'm feeling extreme.
Because Maximilian shoots a volley of 10 shots, and then he reloads. And we don't want to get hurt at all by the first volley right now. We did get hit once, and I will see what happens. Hopefully, because that large target is blocking the path, we'll be good. I'm also going to save just because this might work if I use an order, so we'll see what happens.
Just leave it to me.
Hopefully this rubble kind of blocks things. Alright, and we live, and time is right when they die. Bit of a scary ending, but it turned out alright. So that is Valkyria New Plus.
Very good.
Pretty fun run to do.
There's no way we're getting out of this. Alicia.
It can be a little long to set up the file for it, but it probably only takes about 8 hours. It was a bit shorter than other New Game Pluses that I've done.
Leon!
Welkin, that's Isara's plane.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me. This was a really fun run to go and do.
No problem.
Been a while since I've done it as well.
Well, we're glad to have had you.
Yep, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. I think there's 2 more days or so left.
Today and tomorrow, yeah.
Woo! That was a close one, bro. Leon, it must have taken forever to finish building this. Where did you find the time? After we lost it.
So, thank you so much, Alexis. We appreciate your run. Just wanted to let everybody know we are still taking, just for a few more minutes yet, the donations for the main character name for
Always live inside us.
Legend of Mana,
Now they're all
which is our next run. We're also checking to see if
Tell me, bro.
we save Dana.
This baby could take us
Again,
clear
that's going to be the
across
next run. So hurry up and get any donations if you want to save Dana or not. But we do thank you, Alexis. Where can we find you on the internet should we need to see you?
I stream at AlexisGoesMoo, and I may be streaming some categories of this in a little bit, or other games. I haven't made my mind up yet, but I'll be doing something soon.
Okay, well, we appreciate you being here to help out Take This and to help out Speedrun Ragnarok 2023. So stick around, everybody. We will be back in a few minutes yet for Legend of Mana Remastered. It's going to be a race.